everybody. Welcome to the Gaby U Show. I am your host, Gaby U, and today I have an amazing guest, Michelle Petties. And before we go into our discussion today, I would like to tell you some things about her. Michelle Petties is a master food story finder, author, and recovering food addict. Her first book, Living Large, a food addict's memoir, How I Won a 40-Year Battle Over Obesity, features the award-winning story, The Cake is in the Mail. After gaining and losing 700 plus pounds over 4 decades, Michelle finally discovered that the secret to finding freedom from fat is in the story behind the events, experiences, and memories that formed her beliefs, attitudes, and habits about food, eating, and hunger. And yes, by unlocking her own unique food stories, Michelle debunks long held misconceptions and misconnections about the mind, body, and food. And with this insight, Michelle helps others find their own food truths. She currently offers private coaching for select clients who are ready to find, face, rewrite, and replace their own food stories. And that is Michelle Petties for you. Michelle Petties, welcome to the Gaby U Show.
Oh, I am so excited to be here. You were reading, and I'm like, well, who is that woman?
Yeah, it's always a different perspective when somebody else is reading it. It's like, who is that?
Right. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so happy to have you here too. So, Michelle Petties, I want you to, I have my lovely questions, the lovely icebreaker questions, I call them, that I want to start with. And talking about that, we're going to talk a lot of stuff on food stuff. So, I want you to tell me, what is your favorite food?
Oh man, I knew that coming. I knew that question was going to come up, right? And I always say, well, is a mango martini, is that food? I don't know.
Well, kind of liquid food.
So, here's the thing. Is like before I started this journey and before I got real clear about the purpose of food and why we eat what we eat, I used to think, oh my goodness, I just love food. I just love food more than other people. I just love food more than most people. And there's there's no emotional connection to eating. It's just that I like food. And that's kind of the end of the story. And then I was talking to a friend of mine who, as long as I have known her, has been slender, never had a problem with her weight. And we were having a conversation and she said, oh my gosh, I love food. And I looked and I'm thinking, how could you love food? Look at you. And even then, it didn't, I didn't make the connection, is that loving food doesn't have anything to do with the amount, right? And so I will say this, is that as I have not completed this journey, but as I am on this new journey of awareness, food tastes better to me now, right? And I can't even really say that that I have a favorite food, but here's what I have a favorite genre. My favorite genre of food is anything that is highly spiced and highly flavored. So
that's my jam.
So people tease me because I'm putting hot sauce and cayenne pepper. So if I had to name a favorite, it would be hot sauce.
Okay. Anything spicy and well flavored.
Yes.
Because
Gaby, if it is well seasoned, right? Because if it's well seasoned and has a good flavor and it's high quality, you don't need as much of it to be satisfied.
That's right.
And so we've got this notion, in this culture and in many places, that more is better. Oh, that place is great. They give you so much.
Well, yes.
No, we don't really need that much. I just I just talked to this woman. I met a woman last week, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but here we go. Um, I met a woman in the doctor's office last week, and she told me that she had just finished a 30-day water fast. For 30 days, all she did was drink water. She had a couple cups, a couple cups of coffee, 3 or 4 cups of coffee, but for the 30 days, all she did was drink water. And so once she told me that, I said, well, what did you learn in those 30 days? And she said, oh my gosh, you are the first person to ask me that question. Everybody else wants to know, how much did you lose? And so I said, well, okay, you can tell me that, but I'm really, really interested in what you learned. And she said, what I learned was this: we don't need as much food as we think we need. I mean, I was just like blown away that she came straight with that. We don't need, and
Yes.
and the reality is we can survive longer without food than we can without water.
That's right.
So and water, I water, when I was yo-yo dieting for all those years, for 42 years. Yeah, but here's what I would do. And you know this, I mean, in every plan, it says get 8 hours of sleep, drink 8 glasses of water, or to get, hydrated, and to journal, to write. They tell you in every, no matter which one they tell you to do those 3 things. I never did any of those things. I never did them until this last time. And in my program, I call that DSW, not the shoes. Drink, sleep, and write, right? Mm-hmm. And what I got was, getting the 8 hours of sleep is so important because it helps with impulse control, right? And in sleep is when we get rejuvenated. That's when our body processes the toxins and the fat and all of that out of our bodies. And the reality is that obesity is a disease. It's a disease. And we get healed from getting rest and from sleep. So we need that in order to heal this disease that plagues our body. And the writing piece of it, a lot of programs, they just want you to do a food diary. What am I eat? What do you eat? What do you write? What you eat? And while that's important, my work is on it's the what's important. You got to do that, but it's why. Why are you eating? Why this particular food now? Why this? Why now? What is it? What just happened? What does this food make you think of? When did you first have this food? What is this food? I mean, that. And when you get to that kind of work, just the story behind the food, as I call it, then it frees you up. It frees you up to deal with all the stuff that's on the plate. So that's my favorite food.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm hoping all our listeners, these things you need to be jotting down, because these steps they might sound like it's complicated, but they are pretty easy. That if you follow them, they work pretty good. Yeah. So the next thing I want to ask you is, what is your favorite quote?
What's my favorite? My favorite quote. Yes. All right. So I am. I should know it. I should know it by heart, but I really don't know it by heart. But it is a quote by Maya Angelou. And Maya. Yes. And the quote is, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit to the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." And that sums it up for me. That sums it up for me, is that it's all about transformation, right? It's all about transforming how we manage food. And Gaby, and I don't even say relationship with food, right? And I'm really intentional about that. And the reason that I don't say relationship with food is because when we say relationship with food, we're giving food powers that it does not have.
Yes.
And we should manage food and have relationships with people. And when we start having relationships with food, that means that we are using food when we should be using people. The only problem that food will solve is hunger. That is the only thing that it can do. But when we feel like food can be a cure for boredom or loneliness or sadness or frustration, and we look to food for those things, then that means we aren't looking to people for them. And it becomes a barrier, and it keeps us from connecting. It keeps us connecting with our people, and it really keeps us from connecting with ourselves.
That's right.
When we make it about the food. And one of the examples that I use in my training, I use several of them, but this is one that is really sometimes clarifying. So you go out to dinner, right? You go out to dinner with a group of people, colleagues, friends, whatever the case may be, and you have made some good choices. You've made great choices at dinner. Maybe you got a salad with some grilled fish and just a little bit of dressing, and you turned down the cornbread or the rolls. You did all that. You didn't get anything to drink, but you're satisfied. You're full. You're not hungry. You feel great about the choices that you made. You feel like I did the thing, right? I did it. And then the server comes around at the end of your meal. Can I offer anyone dessert? And they pull out the dessert cart. And on the dessert cart, it's cheesecake, the molten lava thing, the molten lava, the apple pie with ice cream, all the stuff. And everybody at the table gets dessert. And then it's your time to order. So here's the thing. Peer pressure is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Peer pressure is a real thing. And this is a circumstance where that sometimes comes up. And someone's ability to say, oh, I'm good. I'm full. No, I just have coffee. I think I'll pass. That's all right. No matter what everybody else is doing in the table, that doesn't have anything to do with their relationship with food. That has everything to do with their relationship with themselves and their willingness to stand in their own power and conviction, no matter what anybody at the table says. Oh, you're not going to have dessert? This is good. Oh, you're on a diet, but you've already lost some weight. This is not going to hurt. One little piece of pie is not going to hurt. So you're ready to stand up and fight for your own space. Because here's what happens. And it has happened to me time after time. I do that, right? Someone at the table will say to me, oh my goodness, I wish I had your willpower. I wish I had your self-control. Invariably it happens. And what I want to say is that it didn't have anything to do with determination, willpower, self-control. It doesn't have anything to do with that. What it has to do with is the fact that I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want the consequences of what eating that is going to do. I'm not prepared to deal with that. And so if you don't have desire for something, then you don't have to use willpower. You don't have to use self-control. You don't have to use self-discipline. You don't have to use any of that if you change the route. So when I looked at dessert or all my favorite food stuff I like, all I thought about was the taste, was the now. Oh, what's good? That was how I made a decision. What am I going to eat? What's good? I never made decisions on how will this serve my body, because what I eat today is going to show up tomorrow and the week after and the week after and the week after. So the decisions that I make now, and I teach people, make the decisions based on how you want to look, how you want to feel, and how you want to show up. How do you want to show up in this world? Because the food is just is a means to an end. It is not the end.
Yes.
So if we stay focused on the end, if we stay focused on how we want to look, how we want to feel, how we want to show up, and eat according to that, and just stay in in that place of joy, right? When you think about how happy you are when you wear whatever you want to wear, or how happy you are when you see whoever you want to see, or you want to think about how happy you are when you get all the compliments, if you stay in that, it makes it easier to turn down the French fries with chili sauce.
That's right. You got to know your why. Mm-hmm.
You have got to know your why.
Yeah.
And you know what, Gabby? You got to know why your why is your why.
Yeah.
Your list of whys, needs to be longer and stronger and more compelling than the food in front of you. And that's when I say I teach people how to find, fight, rewrite, and replace their food stories. That's the replacement part. That's the replacement part. Just have a long list. Have all the stories that you can think of why making a better choice is what you want to do, rather than being trapped by these old stories that don't serve you.
That's right. And you know, this thing you're talking about, I know many years ago, I think maybe in 2017 or so, I had this thing that I wanted to join this program to lose weight, because after having my son, it kind of took me like 2 years. I was struggling to lose that weight. And I remember when I signed up for the program, it was December. You know how December is, eating time, happy time, everybody eating. And people were like, how could you be starting a program right in December, and all that? And I'm like, I do not want to start the new year with this extra weight. I want to start, I do not care, whatever, because, hey, there is parties, there is stuff all the time. I am not, it's like, yeah, Christmas time. I'm starting. People thought I was nuts starting in December. Like, why don't you just start in January? You know how New Year resolution. I'm like, no. And guess what? I started in December, and by January, when we were saying Happy New Year, I had already lost 10 pounds. And girl, I took that picture and I was like, yes, I felt so good. I'm like, this is, why would I wait? I mean, I still was able to control all the, festivity food and all that, because I knew my why. I was just tired of being tired.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to get myself, and I wasn't waiting any longer, whatever time it is. So yeah, you gotta really see, because this peer pressure thing is for real. It's so much like, what do you want for yourself?
Right. And you know what you said in that story, Gabby, that I love, is just, you said, I lost the 10 pounds and I felt so good.
Yeah.
And as long as we can not figure out, but practice feeling good about any progress, feeling good, celebrating any progress, and stay in that space of accomplishment and achievement, and what that does for you, then that moves you to the next step. That moves you to the next step. And I will tell you this, I was thinking about that this morning, because I plan to write about it a little later. I got up this morning, I walk almost every morning. And I got up this morning and it was raining. And it had been raining and the wind was blowing. And my sweetie was like, you're going walking? The weather's horrible. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. And I got my umbrella and I walked. And I ran into a sign, and the sign said road closed. And the road was closed because it had flooded. And I looked at that sign and I said, well, there's a grassy area. I'm just going to walk around it. So I walked up the grassy area, walked around it, got to the other side. It had stopped raining. I walked a little bit more, and the more I walked, the more I saw these puddles. And I said, I'm going to keep walking. And I stepped in the water and my sneakers got wet. Once my sneakers got wet, my sneakers were just wet. And as I was thinking about this, Gabby, I got to tell you, I'm like, I am out here walking. And what this walk is doing for me, it continues to build a muscle that I already have, right? It's a muscle that I already have. But to start my day with this walk, where I walk through rain, where I walk through puddles, to stay committed to how I want to look and how I want to feel and how I want to show up, you start the day with a sense of achievement. And so when I first started working out, I don't even really work out, all I do is walk. Right? I try to work out, but I just end up walking. But when I first started out, I would do it in the morning. And I would do it in the morning because I was like, if I don't do it in the morning, my day is going to get away from me. And then at night, I'm going to be tired and I won't get it done. But I know if I do it first, I'll get it done. And making that shift of choosing to invest in myself first, it shapes your day, right? And when you go through like this walk I did in the rain and the puddles and the wet shoes and all that today, when you come back, when I felt back, you have achieved something before you've even started your day. And so now, people ask me, when you work out? Well, work out, work out when you can, right? Working out when you can is better than not working at all. But if you can do it first thing in the morning, then it sets you up for achieving all day long. You can take that feeling and it will fuel you through everything else. And when you ask that question, that's what came up for me.
Mhm.
That's what came up for me.
That's right. It is so, I mean, that's journey, the progress, the transformation, all those things, It's not going to be a straight line. We're going to get hurdles, but it's just, your why needs to be really strong to overcome those
Yes.
hurdles. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that feeling, the staying in that feeling, because sometimes, I don't know if you notice it with your clients or the people that you work with, is that there's something about this, the expectation of, I should have made more progress. All I lost was 1 pound. All I lost was 2 pounds. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I mean, really, one pound a week, a year from now is going to be 52 pounds. Who wouldn't be happy about losing 52 pounds? But you got to lose the first one first.
Yes. It's about moving. Something is happening. It doesn't have to be super fast, but something is happening.
Something is happening.
And not comparing with somebody else, because that's the problem too. It's about comparison too. So somebody had told them, oh, they lost this, and they're like, why can't I? But your journey is different. It's about you're moving. That's what matters.
Yeah. Just moving. Yeah, moving. Got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do something. Yes.
You are doing something. You're getting started. That's where the key is there, right there. Mm-hmm. So, Michelle Petties, would you want to tell me, kind of what you think has shaped you to be this woman you are today? You being, this person helping people with food, mindset, all this stuff, I know it didn't just come overnight. So how would you say, what did you say has shaped you to be this woman today? Is it from I want you to share, your victories, your struggles, all that with us.
Okay, well, I will tell you this. This has been a 42-year journey for me. And what I'm here to say is I want everybody, anybody, whoever is ready to learn from my 42 years of mistakes. And sometimes, Gabby, I look at it and my heart breaks. My heart breaks for the 4 out of 5 African-American women that are either overweight or obese. And they are looking to food for answers that they're not going to find in food, because the only problem that food will solve is hunger. And now that I have this clarity about why, the purpose behind eating, now that I have made this fundamental shift that so many need to make, I want other people to make it too. I want that, because I know how much I feel it every day. I know how much joy is on the other side. I know how much freedom is on the other side. I know how much peace, power, pride, confidence. I know how much of that is on the other side when we stop using food as a substitute. And what I see is, I see women of color that are just like banging it. They are slamming it. They are achieving all sorts of things in their career and community, but they have this weight thing that they can't seem to get a handle on. I know that because it was me, right? That in spite of being frustrated every Monday morning when you go to the closet and nothing fits, and you're not going to get rid of it because you pay good money for it, right? In spite of that, right? In spite of wearing the same 3 outfits that are too tight, right? You still go in and you slay it. You just keep going back, giving it your all, giving your all to everybody, right? Giving your all. And if you're my age, or you got the people that are younger, you have parents, you have community, you have church, serving, right? Serving others, and serving others at a high level, but still being frustrated, your inability to serve your body and serve yourself and get to a place where you look and feel and show up like you're supposed to. So my work, my journey, where I am, is I want to share that it's possible. I want to share that it's possible if you just make a shift. And the turning point came for me, Gabby, is I went through multiple rounds of liposuction, right? And I thought, man, if I can just get close, right, I can keep it off. I can keep it off. And I did for a couple of years, but I still, at a size 14 or 16, well, I was really a 16, but I was squeezing into 14s, right? All right, I was 16 squeezing into 14s. Even though that's where I was, my mind was still a size 24. And so I was always in battle. It was always a struggle. I was always fighting it. I was always feeling deprived. I was always feeling like I was missing something. And I had a meltdown at a conference, and I just overate in this setting with colleagues. And while I was eating, I was like, why is this happening to me? I can't do this again. I can't continue on this cycle. I got to do something. So I went to my doctor's office, and she, had a program that she used. And I said, sign me up. I need it now. But as I was sitting in her office, I had to sit. I had to sit with myself, Gabby, because I had been through programs before, and I didn't need another diet, right? I had been through Phentermine, Atkins. I had done the diet, the protein cookie, the diet cookie, the cabbage soup. And I knew this time had to be different. I had to get off the yo-yo. And I was sitting with the questions. Why? And I talk about this in more detail in my book. Why, what? I am missing something. There's something that I'm missing that I have got to get. There's something. And as I sat with that, asking, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? A story came up. A story bubbled up inside of my spirit. And here's a story. I grew up in the country. I grew up in a farming town in East Texas. And this was back in the 90s. And we were at my uncle's farm. And we were having watermelon. And I said, Billy, do you want watermelon? He's like, no, I don't eat watermelon. And he said, I don't eat watermelon. And I heard him. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't like it? Do you not want it right now? Are you going to have some later? He said, no, I just don't eat it. Well, I'm like, there must be a reason that you don't eat it. What? And, my uncle, at this time, my uncle was probably 75 years old. And so he finally told me that when he was a kid, maybe 6, 7, 8, something like that, he and some buddies stole a watermelon from a neighbor's garden. And when my grandfather found out about it, his father, he wasn't happy. And the two things, my grandfather was a railroad worker and my grandfather was a church trustee. That ain't a good combination for a kid that just stole a watermelon. Nothing good is coming of that. So my uncle went on to tell me that when my grandfather found out about it, that he gave him a beating within an inch of his life. And at the time that he told that story to me, it didn't really make the impression on me that it made when I started to think about what's going on with me. And when I recounted that story, when I went back to that story, Gabby, I said, oh my God, that is it. That is it. It is the feeling that we associate with the food that determines how we eat it, how we consume it. And the feelings that my uncle had around watermelon were so traumatic, so painful, so severe that he didn't eat it for 70 years. For 70 years, he didn't eat it because of how he felt about it, because of the memories, because of the event, because of the experience. And when that story washed over me, that's when I started writing my book. That's when I started writing my stories, the food stories of a food addict. And I got it. I said, then the flip is true. When we overeat, when we're craving foods, when we want certain things, it is because we associate that food with pleasurable memories, memories that we want to experience over and over again, and we think it's the food. It is, and it's not the food, it's the feeling. And so the secret, I'm giving you the secret sauce. I'm giving anybody that's listening, here's the secret sauce. We need to separate our feelings about a food from the food itself. When we can get to the point where we can make that separation, that is the first step toward freedom. That is the first step toward power, confidence, joy. That is the first step to separate our feelings from the food, the feelings that a food evokes from the food itself. And that's it.
That's right. Oh my goodness. That is so good. We got to separate the feelings from the food. Repeat, feelings. Write it everywhere on your wall, all that, because it's a lot of things. That's the thing, I know before we got into recording, we were talking about I'm saying, oh, I'm an emotional eater. It's like everybody's an emotional eater. Because like me personally, if, it's something, of course, I have better control now. When I'm very happy, I'm eating a lot. When I'm sad, I'm eating a lot. So it's like, okay. So it's that thing of get that feeling separated from the food. That is a key thing.
So here's my take on us all being emotional eaters, right? At the very core of why we all eat anything is fear. It is fear, not even necessarily fear of hunger, but if we don't eat, if we don't satisfy hunger, then we will starve and we will die. That it is really simple. It just seems kind of great. But since we know intuitively, since we know that the only problem that food will solve is hunger, then the only reason to eat is because you are hungry. And hunger tells us that our body needs food and nourishment, or else we will die. Right? So
like immediate emergency.
Yes. And so at its root, that's the purpose. That's the purpose of eating, is to give us fuel so that we can live. And you think about it, for people that pray before they eat, pray before their meals. I try to. I don't always, but I try. But the prayer is, here's the prayer: thank you, God, for this food, for the nourishment of our bodies. Yes. We say it when we pray. This food is for the nourishment of our bodies. But as soon as we end that prayer, then we take 5 trips to the buffet. That's not nourishing. Am I right? That's not nourishing. So in those few seconds, we step away from what food's true purpose is. And if we get real clear on why we eat, what the purpose of eating is, then we can go and live our life. We can go and get joy where we're supposed to get joy. We can go and be entertained where we're supposed to be entertained. We can go and cry and be sad with someone that we actually have a relationship that can comfort us. When we're frustrated, we can manage that. We can figure out what the source of that frustration is and deal with that. When we're angry, we can do that. Food won't solve any of those problems.
That's right.
It doesn't. It is as much as even when we say it, right? We say it, and there's it's part of it, I think, is the messaging that gets reinforced. It, it's things like, um, uh, I can use some examples from my book, but I'm going to use another one. So you have children, right?
Yeah.
I don't have children, but they play sports, and let's say you're the not the den mother, that's scouting, but you're the carpool, you're the carpool mom, and you're bringing them back home from the soccer game or the baseball game or the football game, and they didn't win, and so they're all sitting in the car, kind of sad, uh, and you can't go back in time and make them win the game and make them be happy. All you can do is sit in their car with their little dejected, sad 8-year-old faces and feel for them because you wish they weren't feeling that thing. And so you're driving and you say, all right, fellas, why don't we go get some ice cream? Or why don't we go get some pizza? And so, yeah, let's do that. So now everybody all of a sudden feels better because they've made this connection. They've made this connection to the ice cream or the food or the pizza or what have you to 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 cure that discomfort. And so unless there's some sort of counter messaging that says it's not the ice cream or the pizza that makes you feel better, it's the camaraderie. It's mom says she's going to do something special for us that makes us feel better. Or, I mean, the same thing would happen is like, if there's a conversation, oh, fellas, I know you lost the game, but you played your heart out. Y'all want to sit here and talk about it for a second? Let's shake that off. And you would get the same effect. You would get the same effect, but we have to go deeper. We have to go deeper to do that than we do when we say, chocolate ice cream. Anybody up for that?
That's right.
So, but it starts in situations just like that when we make disconnections. And please, I'm not saying that we shouldn't go have ice cream or pizza. I'm not saying that at all.
Michelle said no. But it just have to, it's just the way relationship. And I mean, a lot of us, we do that, in different things with our kids, with situations, when it just have to, it starts from the young age, all that stuff. I know food is very powerful. I mean, it brings a lot of people together,
Yes.
and all that. But it's just how we have to not to idolize the food is the problem here,
Yes.
Just how to have the control over, okay, I always will say this thing a lot, like, who is the CEO here? Is it the food or are you the one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what, Gabby, what makes it really hard sometimes is that, food is a love language. Food is how we show we care. Food is how we express affection. If somebody comes to your house, you're like, can I get you something to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you want to show that your heart is open, that you're glad.
It's like a good icebreaker.
Yeah, right. It's a good icebreaker, right? It's a great icebreaker. And you want to say, here, would you like something to eat, something to drink? I just made this. You just want to say, I'm open. It's a representative of that.
Yeah.
And so you give and offer food as an expression of that. But here's the thing. If somebody is a people pleaser like I used to be, just because somebody offered me food and thought enough of me to offer it, I would want to be appreciative and I would eat whether I was hungry or not, just because I wanted to honor them. I wanted to honor their offer, and so we have to get to the place where we recognize, oh my goodness, thank you so much. It looks delicious. Maybe I'll try it next time. Maybe I'll try it a little later. I'm full. I just ate. It looks beautiful. We have to get comfortable in saying no. Like in my course, I teach people 100 different ways to say no, right? And it's all. I'll give you a secret right now. I'll start with the compliment. That looks beautiful. You're so gracious. You're so kind. You're so thoughtful. Smells so good. Not right now. Delay it. You don't even delay it. You don't even have to say no. But that language isn't even for the person. It is for us because we're so used to not saying no. We feel uncomfortable with it. We have to practice it. And so now now I just said no. That's okay. No, thank you. Whereas before, like 3 years ago, I was saying all that other stuff, right? And if something really looks good, I will say it, right? But there are cultures. There are cultures, Gabby. If you go, somebody invites you out to dinner and you eat all the food, they're insulted because they feel like you just came for the food, right? There are cultures like where I grew up. If you come and you don't ask for seconds, they're insulted. What? The food wasn't good? You didn't like it? You
Yeah.
know,
You can't satisfy everybody.
right. But the difference is it's still the food. The only difference is the story that each of those cultures have around food.
Yes.
And the beauty is that we have the power. We have the power to write our own story, to rewrite these old stories about food that are keeping us overweight and obese and robbing us of our joy. We can rewrite our stories.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That is so powerful. I mean, this is some of the things too with my clients when I work with that I bring this up. When it takes time, it's like working on your muscle. You are not gonna, but you have to keep practicing it. Knowing how to actually learning how to say no. I had to learn that too. I mean, it was because I call myself a recovering people pleaser too. But it's learning how to say no. I mean, of course, food is there, commitments, making commitments, all those things, and just learning how to say no without actually explaining too much. Why?
Yes.
Being in that state, and that is one thing for me. When all those times when really getting to wanting to get my weight in place, as I said, that time was a holiday time and everything. I would go to some parties and all that. I know when I was working with my coach and I was there struggling, I'm like, oh my God, I have all these parties. What will I do? Maybe I shouldn't go. She's like, no, you should go. You will see things that you want. And you tell me, oh, they don't want to eat this. They look at you like, why not? I'm like, because it is fine. And for me too, over the years to now, because I dealt a lot of GI problems. So there were certain things that I will not eat because, and it looks like everybody's eating it, but I know what I'm going to suffer. And I tell them, I'm not eating it. It's like, why? I was like, well, it's fine. It doesn't work for my body. It looks good, but it's not going to work for my own body. That's it. And get going. I mean, some people want to know more and all that. A few people, but hey, I got to that level where I'm comfortable. Like, no, I don't want to eat this. Instead, I'm going to eat this. This will be better for my body.
Right.
But it takes time. I know it's a struggle. It's not easy, but it takes time. But it's something you have to, you have to advocate for your own self because you're not going to be able to satisfy everybody. You do one thing, something, by the end of the day, who is going to suffer for it? Of course, it might feel like you hurt somebody's feeling because you did not give you that delicious hot food. But again, you have to look, at the end of the day, what is going to happen? I don't think the person will hold you up for that for years that you didn't eat their food. But they might be angry that whole day that, hey, I made all this food, I shouldn't eat it. And this is the thing, they know. I know I've had one of my neighbor one time, she was telling me I was telling her something and I was like, yeah, you should bring me some of those your food. She's like, Gabby, I don't know. You have all this your criteria for food, so I don't know what to bring for you. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But
that's funny.
it's one of those things that you just have to see what's best for you, for your body, and just be comfortable. And it takes time, but it's doable.
When you talk about making the choices around what's best for you, especially when you're out. I mean, who doesn't have a problem? People that are allergic to certain foods, they don't have a problem making that choice.
Oh
right?
yeah, they know what is
Right? If it's peanuts, if it's peanuts, if it's nuts, if it's seafood, if it's any of that, people that know that I'm gonna swell up, my throat's gonna swell up.
I'll probably die.
I die. I mean, they are vigilant, right?
Yes.
What's in this? And they stay. because that is their food story. Their
Yes.
story is, I can't eat this because it is not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same thing applies to everything else. The same thing applies to sugar, because sugar is
Mm-hmm.
not food. Same thing applies to the fried foods. Same thing applies to the processed foods. Same thing applies. It's you're allergic to it.
Yeah.
It's not good for me.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There are so many, and that's why I say, yeah, it's not good for me. Why? I do want to know. If it's not good for me, that's it. You don't have to know
Right.
all the details. If you want to know the details, come to my house. I'll tell you the story.
Right, yeah. And guess what? It's not good for you either.
Yeah, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's something that, I have over the year. I don't feel that anymore. Like, I don't feel it. People are like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, my body is happy. My belly is happy. I'm not eating that. Because I had one time, because for me, my food, I try to stay a lot of the times from gluten foods. I do more gluten-free foods, and I mean, sometimes I might find myself eating it, but I try as much as possible to stay away from it. And I know one time I went for a party, they have this meat pies, which you call empanadas,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
most
I
of,
know empanadas.
yes, yes. So most of them, I mean, of course, it's made with regular flour. Or of course, I have developed a way not to use regular flour because
Mhm.
I like it. And I went to the party, and of course, the party is African party. We got a lot of foods. The whole Nigerian party. And there were a lot of foods everywhere. There was the meat pie. I think somebody was offering me the meat pie. Oh, you got me to take the meat pie. Meat pie tastes really good. And I'm like, oh no, I won't. I don't want to eat that right. She's like, why? I was like, no, it doesn't do well with my belly. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, no, don't be sorry. I'm happy.
Right.
I am good. I mean, there's so many other foods that I could eat.
Mhm.
And they were like, oh, sorry, like it's
Right.
such a
Right.
bad thing you can enjoy. I'm like, no, I'm happy.
But you know what part of that is that in that she attached joy to food.
Mm-hmm.
She attached pleasure to food. And she wanted, I guess, that she wanted you to be able to experience that pleasure. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was like some, and so again, when we change our food stories and what food means to us, then if what it means to us is different than what it means to other people, then that's where that
Mm-hmm.
negotiation comes. You don't want any of this. You don't want to have, because they view it differently.
Yes.
So, so
They're
no,
all different. Yeah.
yeah. What's pleasurable to you is not pleasurable to me.
That's right.
It might taste pleasurable, but the end effect, the end result is not going to be
We're gonna
pleasurable.
suffer. What is
Right,
it
you're going
worth
to
it?
suffer. Not worth it. I mean, that's how Gabby, that's how I feel about cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me what my favorite food was earlier. Man, I love cheese. I mean, and I used to eat it all the time. Now I rarely eat it. I mean, cheese. I mean, I was a cheese snob. Cheese from all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized, not I realized, but I always knew that it would stop me up. But I ate it anyway, right? I would eat it, and I'm like, oh, the cheese is so good, and you put it with crackers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then in one of my classes, after I stopped eating it, but in one of my classes, one of the people I coached said, your food shouldn't hurt you. And there was just like this big light bulb. Like, our food should not hurt us.
Food is medicine.
Mm-hmm. Food is medicine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, food is healing.
Yes.
And so so now I can look at cheese and remember all the times that I used to eat it and how much I enjoyed it, but not have any desire to consume it now, because it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. It's not worth what it does to my body.
And that is the thing we need to consider with all the foods you're eating. That is this food that I'm eating. I mean, we have to really be very conscious. Like, what I'm eating, is it helping my body, or is it gonna be helping a disease or an illness? So it's two things, the food we do, and even the food that some foods, of course, that we call healthy foods. Sometimes if you have a food sensitivity or a food allergy, even though they are healthy, it might not be working for you. And for me too, in my practice, of course, we go through this process too of determining some food sensitivities, which is different from food allergy. Of course, food sensitivities After some months of staying away, you can go back to the food. But food allergies is kind of doesn't really go away unless maybe it's from when you are a child and now you're an adult, it might go away. But it's one of those things. It's like there are two things, one or the other. Is the food um, causing problem or is it healing you? That if one can just have that thought when you are trying to pick these foods, of course it goes on with emotions as well, like we've been talking. Is there something you're also trying to deal with? Because there's one thing, I actually did a short video, it's like a little TikTok video, and I said, if hunger is not the problem, then food is not the solution.
Love that. If hunger is not the problem, then food is not the solution. So, you know what, Gabby? I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that on my Instagram. I'm gonna tag you on that.
Yes.
If hunger not the problem,
then food is not the solution.
Food is not the solution. Yeah. Yes. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So, well, it's a lot of things that we can do about this and still enjoy ourselves, still enjoy food. Like I said, I'm a foodie girl. The kitchen is my happy place. I'm doing all types of cooking, but I know what I'm cooking, it's joy. It's because, you say, how could you be foodie and you're so picky about all these foods, you don't want to eat this, and you say you're a foodie. Yes, I know what I'm the CEO of my food. Right. Yeah. Right. My specialty actually with food is that, over these years of learning stuff from, health, I love nutrition, all these things. So one of my specialty is converting all these so-called unhealthy foods and making them healthy and still taste delicious. So you check out my YouTube channel, you will see some of all those foods and everything. Even that cheese, of course, I have figured out there's non-dairy cheese, which of course still tastes pretty good. So there's so many options, especially now on these days. So many options we have now that we can enjoy stuff that and still enjoy food and keep healthy, because people just feel like, if some of these things are not in this food, it doesn't taste good. It's not good. It tastes like paper. No, there are so many things. Using a lot of spices, talking about spicing and flavoring. Oh yeah, that's my jam. So many ways we can do things. Yeah. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's. I think it's a benefit. I think it's a benefit when food tastes good, when it's delicious.
Yes.
Because, I don't know about you. When I was growing up, I try not to eat vegetables. I don't like them. They don't taste good. And the response was, eat it anyway. Right? It's good. It's good for you. Right? It doesn't always taste good. And then once you're full, it doesn't even matter because you're full.
Yes.
But we are in a place that we can add so many spices, and we don't have to have tasteless. We don't have to have tasteless choices.
Yeah.
It does make it difficult if we don't honor. I think there's a difference between honoring our taste buds and living by our taste buds, right?
Yeah,
we don't just control our life, right? So
that's right. Yeah. So Michelle, I know you're probably proud of many things, but I want to just pick one thing that you're most proud of a woman today.
Oh man. Yeah. So I am most proud of getting this book written. I am and it's that's a big question.
And can you mention that book name again?
Yes. The title of the book is Leaving Large. And when I came out with it originally, it was Leaving Large, a Food Addict's Memoir, How I Won a 40-Year Battle Over Obesity. That was last year. Now I just shortened it. Now it's still Leaving Large, but it's the stories of a food addict, because I really wanted people to focus on the food addiction piece and on the story. So we did a little rebranding on it.
Okay.
But I am most proud of that. And I feel like I birthed a child. Like I don't, I don't have children, so I don't know what it's exactly like to go through childbirth. But I know birthing these stories, right? Birthing these stories and going back through my life, going back through 42 years of food addiction was cathartic, really. And it I'm proud that I was able to sit down and write 30,000 words. And to look at it and at the end have something that I feel like will make a difference for somebody else. And it makes me feel like my life has meaning, right? I writing this book makes me feel like that I am fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my, that is
Die
awesome.
in food addiction for nothing.
Mm.
Somebody can pick up these stories and see themselves and learn, then I've achieved something. I'm super proud of that.
That is so amazing. That is definitely a great achievement to be and something to be really proud of.
Yeah.
Putting that stories in the book. Just live and having it there. Because one person will pick this and change their life. One
it's
or more.
It's all the stories. There's no whole bar. A friend of mine read it and he said, well, once somebody reads it, they will feel like they know you.
Yes.
And the thing about the thing about the truth will set you free. And this book is 42 years of my truth. And facing those stories, rewriting them, replacing them, has been freedom. Has been freedom from the bondage of food.
Yes.
Freedom to live my life. Freedom to live my joy. Freedom to share with others who are trapped, that they don't have to stay trapped. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
That is so amazing. Yes. So I know we have talked a lot about many things to encourage us, but I want us to just put it in a bow before we end the show today. What are some encouraging words you want to leave us with to this person listening to you today?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, encouraging words is this: wherever you are right now on your journey, wherever you are, it is not too late. That I'm in the screen here. It is not too late. The other one is now. Now, this moment. This, not tomorrow, not after the holidays, not on Monday, now. And the third one is never give up. Never, even when it's hard. Even when it's hard, and expect it to be hard, but never give up, because when you go through the hard stuff, that's where the growth is. That's where the power is. That's where the freedom, that's where the confidence, that's where the joy is doing it because it's hard. Those three things. Now, never hard. Yeah.
That is great. Love it.
Yeah.
Those are things that we need to write down too, jot it down. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. So now it's not too late, and never give up. It's three N's. Those are the new N words.
Yeah, I love those N words.
those are the new N words. And if anybody just, I told that watermelon story, but if anybody wants to download a free chapter of the book, they can, because there's another story that I also include. And you can download a free chapter at leavinglarge.com. And
so where are the other places that people can find you on social media and all that?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at I am brand new now. That's why I said now earlier, because I am brand new now. Okay. You can also find me. I have a Facebook group. Also, I am brand new now, and also on YouTube. I am brand new now YouTube channel. And on Sunday nights, I do a talk show, or streaming show, a video cast. And what I do is, in the group, I post up a dilemma of the week and let people weigh in on their answers. It's called a brand new take. People weigh in on the answers, and I, along with the nutritionist, a trainer, and someone in the program, we get on screen and we talk about the solutions to the dilemma from a brand new vantage point. So you can check it out on YouTube. It's live on Sundays at 7 o'clock Eastern time. A brand new take.
That is great. And any other projects you're working on? I know you talked about your book.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, there is another project that I'm working on, but it is so new that I kind of don't want to jinx it. I mean, okay. I just signed the contract yesterday, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it just yet. But just say this: hold on tight. There is more to come.
And that's why it's good for you guys to follow her on Instagram, so she can, you guys can have updates too. What's going on with her?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, but I do offer workshops. If somebody's interested, you can reach out to me at I am brand new now at Gmail, or you can message me in the group or in the chat, when we do the show. But I do workshops in which I teach people. I show people who are ready how to find, face, rewrite, and replace their food story so that they can have some freedom.
Yes, love that. That is so great. So I know if you guys listening, all these links, I will have it. If you watch it on YouTube, we will have it on the description area. I'm going to put all these links so you can connect with Michelle. And if it's on the other podcast platforms like Google, Spotify, Apple, I will have it on the show notes area. So you guys check out for that, connect with Michelle, because you are going to learn so much. We all need to have our own food stories. So I think Michelle can help us with that. So yeah.
Well, this has been a blast.
Yes, really enjoyed this time.
Really, I mean, Gaby, I'm so happy for you and for your clients and the work that you do around wellness and supporting them. So, my wig's off to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Because this is important. This is important work. Right?
Yes, this is important.
This is important work. Our bodies and our health and our wellness and how it's all integrated.
Yes.
It is all, one thing is dependent on another. And our health is our wealth.
That's right. What is the use when you have all this money and you are not enjoying your health? It's not worth it. That's right.
Right.
Yes. And I'm just so happy, having women like you, because we need to empower women with different things. Women, we are so powerful and we give out so many things, and we need to empower women, because if women are empowered, this world is a better place. When they say mama not happy, nobody ain't happy. Right. So we need all these things to help us through. So I'm glad to have people like you too doing this kind of work as well. So
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. And so I'm going to end this episode today with my favorite quote from Maya Angelou. She says, when you know better, you do better. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.